Guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Shannon. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you so much being here, and I hope by the end of the video you might consider subscribing, ringing the notification bell so I can see you here next time. So without further ado, we're gonna dive right in because I think this is gonna be a rather long video. I'm gonna try to keep it as quick as possible and as basic as possible, but I've had several requests for tutorials recently, and so I recently did my brow tutorial, and so I thought I would bring you an eyeshadow look. So I do have my brows done, but I have not primed or anything, so we are gonna start with primer. And today I am gonna be working with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer. I do enjoy this primer, you guys. I think it's a good drugstore option. I'm currently just trying to pan it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to have my mirror here. I hope that doesn't bother you guys too much. But I'm trying to just work through this product. I've had it for a little bit, and so it's just time. It begins super creamy, and then you'll feel it kind of start to get tacky as you begin to sort of tap it in, and that is really all I do, is just tap it on to the lid. And I do bring it all the way up because I do have hooded eyes, so I do have to bring my shadow up quite a bit. I'm just taking a teeny tiny amount, as you can see, and I'm just tapping that on like so. So nothing really difficult here, no real technique, just sort of getting that primer on. I do think this helps prolong my eyeshadow throughout the day for sure. So yeah, I think it's a nice little affordable drugstore option, and I just thought I would share it with you guys. So that's it. I'm gonna work into setting that now, and I'm gonna be using my all-time favorite product to set down my primer, and that is Brulee from Wet n Wild. This is my jam, you guys, and these will be the brushes that I'll be working with today. So I'm just gonna set them down in front of me, and I really enjoy this sort of, really any flat shader, but just a dense flat shader brush that's a little bit on the larger side, just to pack on that Brulee shade. And this is just going to set that primer down. It will help prevent skipping later on, and it just really does help provide a little coverage to the lids, as you can see, but also just helps with blending later on. And I do bring that all over the lid. No rhyme or reason here, guys, just really packing it on, not doing a ton of blending movements, as more so just packing.
Alright, I have hit pan, major pan on this guy, and this is the new formula, so I got this when they launched the new eyeshadow palettes, and you guys, I see why this is such a hyped up single shadow. It's just really, really good. It's creamy, it goes on super easy, packs some coverage, and so yeah, if you have a similar complexion to me, I think that you should try this one out. I think you'll like it. So yeah, that's pretty much it
For that guy. So we're gonna be working with this guy here. This is in my Shop My Stash this week, and it is the Dominique Cosmetics palette, and it looks like this. These shades are really, really creamy and very, very pretty. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna begin by just taking this shade here, this vanilla shade, and it is called Vanilla Cream, on my Sigma E40. And I'm gonna get this all over the brush. You know, I'm gonna put a good amount on, and I'm just going to, in circular motions, bring this all over. This is just an additional step that I like to do. It's not necessarily something you have to do, but I like to do this just to ensure that there really is no primer that's tacky, because it really does affect blending later on. And so yeah, just all over, back and forth, windshield wiper and circular motions, just getting this product all over the lid. We are going to be pretty much sticking to the neutral tones, so the browns in this palette today for this look. Nothing crazy. We're not going to work into the blue or the purple. I may use the purple on the lower lash line or maybe the blue, but for the most part, we're just going to stick with the browns to keep it nice and simple. So the first shade I'm going to go into is this guy here, and it is called Caramel. I'm going to take that on this brush here. This is just a Morphe blending brush. It actually came in a set that's available at Ulta. And I'm just gonna take this up into the crease and above my crease because, again, like I said, I do have hooded eyes, so I have to kind of exaggerate my shadows in order for you to see the shadow when my eyes are open. So I'm just using this guy here as a means of getting that first color down. This is gonna act as my transition shade. And I'm just taking it in, again, kind of similar to what we just did with that Sigma E40. I'm just not taking it down onto the lid, but circular motions, back and forth motions. I really like a natural bristled brush to sort of do this step because I feel like it really diffuses that shadow and sort of blends it out nicely, and it just creates a nice wash of color. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy here. This is from Wet n Wild. It is a super affordable brush, 99 cents. I'm going to continue with that same shade, but because I'm using this synthetic brush, it's going to pack on more pigment instead of diffuse it entirely like the first brush did. And so I just want to build this up a little bit because the next shade that we're going to go into is pretty rich, and you know, I just want to make sure that this is all going to blend okay. With these shadows, I do find that they're nicely pigmented, but you do kind of have to build them up a little bit. They're not like Anastasia shadows where, you know, you get intense pigmentation right out of the gate. I do remember watching her video on this palette, and she said that she wanted it to be that way, so that way no matter, you know, your level of eyeshadow skills, you would be able to work with this palette, and I think it's really great. So the next brush I'm going to go into is this guy here from Morphe. This is the M330. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up this shade here. It's kind of like a burnt orange. It's called Pumpkin Spice. And I'm just going to apply that to my brush, sort of tap off the excess. And I'm going to begin putting this right into that crease. Pretty much on top of that other shade that we just laid down on top of Caramel. When I get to this outer part, I like to go in circular motions just to ensure that it is, in fact, blending in with the other shade and that there's no harsh lines. And I'm going to do the
same thing to the side, and I'm just basically going to continue to build this up for a second before we go into the next shade. So again, in circular motions out here, just to diffuse and make sure that all of that is blended, no harsh lines. And I'm going to build that up just a little bit more, so I'm going to take a little bit more, tap off the excess. Focus this more so on the outer, and then kind of dragging whatever is left in to the inner. I will say personally, you guys, if you're looking for a brush similar to this one, I prefer the Morphe M505 over this one. They're very similar, but I find that the M505 is a little less scratchy than this one, and I feel like it blends a little bit better than this one as well. So very similar in shape, but I feel like the M505 performs better overall. It's not, like I said, as scratchy, but also it doesn't shed either. Like this one has a tendency of shedding, especially the first couple times I used it and washed it. Alright, so
we have a pretty good base down. I know it's a little bit tedious, you guys, these first couple steps, but they really are crucial when it comes to getting a nice diffused sort of gradient effect, things nice and blended. It's important to go in with those first tedious steps. So now I'm going to go into this guy here, this little pointed sort of brush. This is the Morphe M321. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up this shade here, which is kind of like a burnt sienna, if you will. It's called Hazelnut, and I'm just going to basically coat my brush in it and tap off some excess, and I'm going to begin stamping this into the outer and bringing this into my crease.
now I do have some wrinkles on my lids. As you can see, things sort of skip around. So a lot of times sometimes I have to do stamping motions in that general area just to make sure that the shadow gets into all those little wrinkles, my little eyelid wrinkles. If you're new to my channel, I am 31. I'll be 32 in September. And so I am starting to see some signs of wisdom, if you will. I don't like to say aging. Go ahead and do the same thing over here. I'll be honest with you guys, 90% of the time I do not enjoy my eyeshadow looks until I get pretty far in. Like, it's hard for me to see like the big picture. I can see the big picture, but I don't typically like what I see until I get pretty much to the end. So as you can see, there is, you know, patchiness and skipping. It's not the shadow, it is my lids. I have that issue. So it does take me a little bit longer when I'm blending in this area here. And so
I'm just kind of packing and sort of blending at the same time. Don't worry if it looks messy, you guys. You know, you go in later on and kind of fix all that. Just kind of get that color down. It's kind of what we want to do here.
do like an intense cut crease or anything like that. I'm just basically using this as a base for the shimmer shade that I'm going to lay down on top of it. So this doesn't really need to be perfect, you guys. I do like to drag it up a little bit into that crease area because, again, I have to kind of bring my shadows up a bit in order for you to see the shimmer or whatever it is when my eye is open. We'll do the same thing over here. If you've never tried these pencils from NYX, you really should. I think they're really nice. They have a dark base as well. I believe it's called like Coffee Bean. I think they have a black one too. I'd be interested in picking up a couple of the others in deeper shades just for when I'm doing like those rich colored mattes on the lid. It'd be nice to have a deep base to put underneath. Alright.
So that's pretty much it for there. I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy here from Wet n Wild now. These are my all-time favorite lid packing brushes. They're, I think, 99 cents. Again, super cheap and affordable, and I love that about them. So I have already worked with this shade on a couple of occasions. So I think today I'm gonna go into Creme Brulee here. It's a pretty sort of rose gold color, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get some of this on my brush. And I've not tried this color, like I said, so I don't know if I'm gonna need to wet the brush or not. We shall see.
So again, just kind of bringing this up a bit. Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna have to wet the brush here, you guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of get the base of where I want this to be. These are super creamy shadows, you guys. So creamy. And I thought kind of, you know, when I felt them, I was like, man, these are so creamy. I wonder how they're going to perform throughout the day, if they're going to crease. And I've had no issues so far, which is really nice. So that's pretty much all I've done there. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And then we're going to go in and spray this brush down and see what we can get once the brush is sprayed. I love these little Wet n Wild brushes because they are super precise. I get that shadow exactly where I want that shadow, and I love that. I'll try to see about speeding some of this up if I can. You guys know me in editing. It's not necessarily my forte, but I will do my best to make this not a super, super long video, but I think we're doing pretty good.
All right, so I'm gonna take some Fix Plus and not spray the camera, and just spray my brush. And see what happens now.
Most of my shimmer shadows, just to get intense pigmentation. I really like, if I'm going to use a shimmer on the lid, I want it to be poppin'. So that's where we're at so far, you guys. Do the same thing over here. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I'm doing it But now I'm really more so packing rather than swiping. I'm just kind of like tapping that on.
That definitely looks better wet for sure. And just to up the ante, let's try a fingertip also.
Yeah, that's really pretty. The shade is really pretty. It is coming out more gold to me than rose gold, but nonetheless it is a very pretty gold. It's not too yellow, which I like. It's kind of like a neutral sort of gold. I feel like you could go either way with this. Cool or warm tones, just depending on what you're feeling that day.
A little messy up there, but that's no worries because we are gonna go in with this guy here, and this is one of my favorite brushes ever for this type of work. It's the Morphe M507. I'm gonna go ahead and dip back into hazelnut, and I'm just going to basically blend this crease a bit.
Kind of going over that really harsh edge with the shimmer shade, just really like running this into my actual crease. I like that this brush is very tapered. It's super soft, but it is very, very tapered. So it makes it really easy to apply that shadow exactly where you want that shadow. And I appreciate that with my really small hooded eyes. So if you have a similar eye shape to me where they're small and hooded, I would say give this brush a go. It's great for this kind of detailed work. Again, just running that right into the actual crease, covering that messiness of that shimmer shade a bit. And this is kind of where you guys, I'm like, oh, this looks so messy, this looks so sloppy, I don't like it. But I promise you it all comes
together. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go back into my brush from Wet n Wild, and I'm gonna dip into Pumpkin Spice. So I'm basically repeating those first steps, and I'm dragging this over top of what I just did
to sort of soften that up. I don't know if you guys can see the difference between this eye and this eye, but it really does help soften everything and kind of bring it all together. And this for me is when I start seeing some positive result where I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. And I'm really just taking it right over top of what I just did. So every repeating layer pretty much just goes right on top of the layer that you just put down. But instead, you're kind of doing it backwards now, if that makes sense at all. I hope I'm making sense to you guys.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my original Morphe brush, and I'm gonna dip back into the shade Caramel, which is that first transition shade, and I'm gonna bring that basically up to the brow bone. Again, running it over everything I just put down.
No harsh edges. Down into that deep part of my crease to just help diffuse that shimmer and soften that. Same thing over here. I like to start in the outer part of the eye, and then kind of bring whatever's remaining into that deep part of the crease to diffuse that shimmer. Okay, looking good, my friends.
It's really hard when you have hooded eyes, I'll be honest. Okay, so now that we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and just take a makeup wipe. This is my little trick to get those nice crisp edges. So I'm gonna take this makeup wipe down here just to make sure I don't have, get rid of the fallout. And I like to just drag that out. And that's what gives me that nice kind of crisp line. So you don't have to go in with tape or anything abrasive under the eyes. Just use your makeup wipe, girls and guys. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and just pop on some liquid liner. Actually, you know what, you guys? I think I'm gonna skip liquid liner just to keep this simple. No lashes either. We'll just go in with mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this liner from Lorac. bring that down into my lower lash line. And then I'm gonna take a flat sort of brush like this Sigma E25, and I'm gonna go into Caramel again, which was that first transition shade. And I like to smudge shadow into that liner, and this is kind of my secret for getting long wearing liner. Girls and guys, I can get my liner literally to last for hours. I usually will have to touch up, you know, midday, just sort of spot touch up some areas, but to be honest, you guys, I mean, this is my secret. It's an old trick. It's just like setting your powder foundation, or I'm sorry, your liquid foundation with a powder. Just kind of sets that liner into place, and it keeps it from moving on me. Even down here in this Florida heat, this is my secret. And so I like to kind of drag my shadows down pretty low. I mean, I like to really smoke it out. That's totally optional. You don't have to do that. And then I'm going to take this deep, rich shade here called Mocha. And I'm just going to place that in this outer corner. And then kind of drag it down here. Okay, so it's gonna create this really smoked out effect and also create a little bit of depth. Just kind of stamping it.
I like to do my eyes before my foundation. Now, honestly, you guys, this is for the sake of the video.
But normally I don't do my lower lash line and all of this until my foundation's on, for obvious reasons. I'm gonna have to wipe this away and redo it so that I can get foundation on. But I just wanted to show you guys how I would complete it. Then I will go back in with that original sort of fluffy brush, no product, and just run that over everything just to soften any harshness that I may have had happen. And that's it, you guys. If you wanna, you know, if you went too far, you can always just take your little makeup wipe and clean things up. You can always go back into your makeup wipe. That's kind of why I like to do my eyeshadow before anything else. And so, I mean, I would finish my base, come back, do my inner corners and my brow bone. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm about to film my base routine as well and show you guys how I would finish this look. So stay tuned, and in that video I will show you mascara and basically this finished lower lash line and so on and so forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is what it looks like, minus brow bone highlight and inner corner, but I promise you I will have that for you in my base routine. So anyways, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions down below as usual, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.